The Zalari had always considered themselves the masters of war. For centuries, their fleets had patrolled the stars with precision, striking fear into weaker species. Every maneuver, every strategy, every weapon system had been perfected over generations. To the Zalari, war was a science, a game of logic and calculation. Nothing could surprise them. Nothing, that is, until the humans arrived. Commander Threx, a senior officer in the Zalari fleet, stared at the screens on the bridge of the flagship Zirath. Sensors had picked up a massive object entering their sector, moving slowly but steadily. "It is a transport," Threx said with certainty. "No fleet would travel alone without warning. Its energy signature is unusual but harmless, I think." Admiral Vryn, seated on the command dais, did not share his confidence. "We cannot assume it is harmless. Scan it again. I want every reading, every energy fluctuation, every possible weapon system catalogued." The bridge hummed with activity as officers typed commands and monitored streams of data. The unknown vessel was enormous, larger than any transport they had ever seen. Its hull was simple, almost plain, lacking the sleek complexity typical of Zalari ships. Yet there was something about it that made the sensors give conflicting reports. It seemed resistant to scans, almost as if it had its own defenses hidden deep inside. On the human battleship, Commander Elena Marcus stood on the bridge, her hands resting calmly on the railing. The ship itself, USS Resolute, looked old compared to the Zalari fleet. It had thick armor plates, large engines, and a design that focused more on durability than elegance. But Marcus knew the ship's strength came not from appearances but from her crew. Every officer and crew member had trained for this moment. Every system had been tested. Every weapon, maneuver, and contingency had been planned. "Captain," Lieutenant Rivas said, pointing to the viewscreen, "they're scanning us. Their fleet is in formation, surrounding our path." Marcus nodded. "Let them look. They might see us as just a strange transport, but they will learn soon enough. Keep shields ready, weapons on standby, and maintain course. Remember, we do not fire first unless necessary." Back on the Zirath, Threx frowned. "It has shields, yes, but primitive. No advanced energy field detected. Their weapons are non-existent?" Vryn narrowed his eyes. "Impossible. A vessel this size traveling alone cannot be unarmed. There must be hidden systems. Prepare the fleet for engagement." As the Zalari ships formed a semicircle around the human battleship, small warning drones zipped ahead, scanning, probing, and analyzing. Each drone returned with data, but none could penetrate the humans' defenses. Every report came back with uncertainty. Something about this vessel defied logic. Marcus watched the alien fleet's movements carefully. "They are confident," she said quietly. "They think they control this encounter. But confidence does not equal victory." Her first officer, Commander Talara, raised an eyebrow. "You believe we can take on their fleet, ma'am?" Marcus smiled slightly. "We are not here to take on the fleet yet. Observation first, strategy second. Their tactics are predictable, but that will only last until they realize we do not fight like anyone else." On the Zalari flagship, Thrax shared his concerns with Vryn. "Their hull is strong. Our scans are incomplete. This does not follow any known pattern of war. I am uncertain." Vryn's eyes narrowed. "Uncertainty is weakness. We have faced unknowns before. Prepare the attack grid. On my signal, we strike decisively. Meanwhile, the humans prepared quietly. Engineers checked weapon systems, pilots ran simulations, and the tactical team reviewed the aliens' formation patterns. Every crew member moved with calm efficiency. There was no panic, no fear. There was only focus, intelligence, and preparation. As the two forces drifted closer, a strange calm filled the void between them. The Zalari, masters of strategy, believed themselves in control. The humans, seemingly outnumbered and outgunned, remained unshaken. The silence in space was deceptive. It was the calm before a storm that would soon show the Zalari that their understanding of war was incomplete. Commander Marcus took one last look at the alien formation. "Remember this," she said to her bridge crew. "We do not just fight with weapons. We fight with minds, with courage, with unity. They may think they know war, but they have never faced humans." The fleet held its breath, each side preparing for what could be the first battle in a war that neither had fully imagined. And in that quiet, tense moment, the first spark of human ingenuity was about to illuminate the darkness of space, changing the galaxy's understanding of war forever. The void of space seemed quiet at first, but the tension was electric. The Zalari fleet moved with precision, their ships forming perfect formations bristling with energy weapons. To them, victory seemed inevitable. They had faced countless adversaries, and no opponent had ever challenged their skill. Until now, Commander Elena Marcus stood on the bridge of the USS Resolute, her eyes scanning the alien formations. She had studied countless simulations of alien tactics. Every predictable movement, every anticipated strike, it all became part of her plan. The humans were outnumbered, yes, but not outsmarted. Not yet. Shields at 70%, reported Lieutenant Rivas. They are probing our defenses with energy pulses. Minimal effect so far, Marcus nodded. Good, maintain course. Wait for my signal. Let them expose their patterns. The Zalari, confident in their understanding of war, unleashed their first salvo. Brilliant streams of energy shot toward the human battleship, illuminating the blackness of space. Marcus leaned forward, analyzing their attack. Steady, she murmured. Then almost imperceptibly she gave the command. Evasive maneuvers. Pattern Delta 2. The Resolute tilted, shifted, and rolled in a way that seemed almost reckless. But every movement was calculated, precise. Alien energy beams streaked past harmlessly, leaving glowing trails across the hull. The Zalari paused for a moment, confusion rippling through their ranks. What? How can they move like that? Demanded Commander Threx aboard the Zirath. Our calculations. They should have been hit. Admiral Vrin's claws tightened around the command rail. They are unpredictable. Adjust our targeting systems. But the humans were not just dodging. As they moved, small fighter crafts launched from hidden hangars within the Resolute. Swift and agile, they darted among the alien ships, attacking weak points, disrupting communications, and forcing enemy formations to break. Fighter Squadron Alpha, strike left flank, Marcus commanded. Use diversion, then retreat to safe positions. The human pilots executed the orders flawlessly. The Zalari fleet, though advanced, struggled to adapt. Each time they tried to coordinate a counterattack, the humans were already steps ahead, exploiting gaps, feints, and openings that the aliens did not anticipate. Threx paced in frustration. Their tactics? They do not follow logic. They are improvising. Improvisation is human strength, Vrin hissed. We must adapt. Prepare the shockwave cannons. Fire on my mark. But even the shockwave cannons designed to obliterate enemy ships found limited success. The Resolute's hull absorbed impacts that should have shattered it. Its energy shields fluctuated just enough to deflect the worst of the attacks. Marcus had anticipated the cannon's charge times and angles, moving her ship in ways no simulation could predict. In the human command room, engineers worked in harmony with the bridge. They rerouted power from non-essential systems to reinforce shields, modified weapon output mid-flight, and repaired minor hull breaches almost instantly. Every crew member contributed, not just following orders but thinking, adapting and acting together as one unit. Talara watched the Zalari fleet with a mix of awe and determination. Captain, they are changing formations. They are trying to trap us. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Let them. They will learn the hard way. Initiate counter-trap maneuver. Use their own formations against them. Target their command ships with coordinated strikes. Remember, we are faster in thinking than they are in calculation. The Resolute twisted through the alien fleet, moving like a phantom. Human fighter squads struck, pulling back before the aliens could respond. Alien destroyers fired blindly, energy blasts missing their mark by meters while human ships exploited weak points with surgical precision. Back on the Zirath, Threx's frustration grew. Their attacks are clever, unexpected. They think differently. Vrin's eyes glinted with anger and respect. Indeed, they are not just fighting with weapons. They are fighting with minds. We underestimated them. Prepare for full engagement. Do not let them escape. But escape was not the humans' goal. They were here to teach a lesson about the strength of strategy, adaptability, and courage. Each maneuver, each counterattack, each decision on the Resolute was designed to challenge the Zalari's understanding of war. As the battle continued, it became clear that the humans were not merely surviving. They were dominating in their own way. The aliens' formations, once flawless, now staggered and shifted in confusion. They had never faced an opponent who could predict, adapt, and counter with such speed. Marcus leaned back slightly, observing the chaos she had orchestrated. Remember this crew, she said quietly. They may have the numbers, they may have the firepower, but we have something more. Our minds, our courage, our unity. That is why humans endure. That is why we win. In the darkness of space, the first real spark of human ingenuity had shone. The Zelari realized, perhaps for the first time, that they had underestimated the humans not as soldiers, but as warriors of a completely different kind. And this was only the beginning. The battle had raged for hours. Yet neither side had suffered catastrophic losses. The Zelari were skilled, precise, and confident in their control of the fight. But the humans were different. They did not simply react. They anticipated, adapted, and struck with surprising accuracy. Commander Elena Marcus studied the alien fleet as it pursued them near a dense asteroid field. The massive rocks drifted silently, threatening to crush anything that miscalculated its path. Marcus saw opportunity. "This is where we change the game," she said to her first officer, Commander Talara. Talara nodded. "The asteroid field is dangerous for both sides. But we know its patterns." "They don't." Marcus's lips curled into a faint smile. "Exactly. Initiate maneuver Omega-7. Use the asteroids for cover and draw them in." The USS Resolute tilted sharply, slipping between enormous rocks with precise timing. The Zelari fleet followed, confident that their superior numbers would prevent any escape. But human intuition and adaptability proved far greater than they expected. "Shields at maximum," Lieutenant Rivas reported, navigating between the asteroids. "No collisions so far." Marcus's eyes were sharp, scanning the alien movements and the positions of every asteroid. "Keep your focus. Every ship must move as one. We will divide them, confuse them, and strike where they are weakest." As the Zelari pursued, they underestimated the hazards. Their ships, designed for open space combat, struggled in the crowded asteroid field. Collisions became a real risk. Meanwhile, human fighter crafts zipped between rocks, luring alien ships into tight spaces where their firepower was less effective. Threx's voice trembled with frustration. "Commander, they are using the asteroids against us." "Their movements are unpredictable. How can they calculate so fast?" Vryn growled. "They are not just calculating. They are thinking differently. They improvise, adapt. This is unsettling." On the human battleship, engineers rerouted power to shields at critical moments, preventing energy bursts from cracking the hull. Weapons teams fired at key points of the alien ships, hitting weak spots with surgical precision. Human coordination was flawless, yet it appeared spontaneous, like a living organism reacting instinctively to the environment. "Alpha Squadron, engage left flank," Marcus ordered. "Use the rocks for cover, then hit their command ships. Timing is critical." The fighter crafts darted between the asteroids, invisible until they struck. Alien ships caught off guard faltered and collided with small debris or had to veer abruptly, breaking formation. The USS Resolute itself moved in ways that seemed impossible, slipping through narrow gaps, dodging energy blasts, and positioning itself to strike at the most critical targets. Threx slammed his clawed hand on the console. "They are dismantling our strategy. Their strikes. They are precise yet unpredictable. It makes no sense." Vryn's eyes glinted with both anger and respect. "This is not just a battle of weapons. It is a battle of minds. We underestimated them. They are not merely surviving, they are controlling the battlefield." Marcus gave the final command for the maneuver. "All firepower on the central destroyer. Use diversionary strikes to confuse them. Target their weak points."
"Timing everyone, now."
The human ships moved like a shadow through the asteroids. Fighters launched sudden, coordinated attacks, forcing the alien fleet to scatter. The USS Resolute fired concentrated energy bursts at the central destroyer, disabling its engines and communications. For the first time, an Zelari ship of significant importance was completely neutralized. A ripple of shock spread through the alien fleet. Threx's voice was nearly a whisper. "Impossible. How did they—" Vryn bellowed, "Fall back! Regroup, we must adapt." "They are not fighting as any enemy we know." But it was too late. The humans had demonstrated something the Zelari could not yet comprehend. It was not technology alone that gave them the advantage, it was strategy, intuition, and a willingness to act boldly. The humans had turned a deadly trap into a weapon, using the asteroid field to level the playing field and dominate. Marcus took a deep breath and addressed her bridge crew. "This is what makes us human," she said quietly. "Our courage, our creativity, our ability to think when everything seems impossible. Today we have proven it once again. Remember this, crew. Every challenge is an opportunity if you use your mind. The battle in the asteroid field ended with the Zalari fleet retreating slightly, regrouping to reassess their strategy. For the first time, they felt fear mixed with respect. Humans were not predictable. Humans were not merely ships in space. They were a force of intelligence and adaptability. As the USS Resolute glided through the dark expanse, Marcus looked at the scattered alien ships and then at the stars ahead. "This is only the beginning," she said. "They have learned that we are dangerous, and we will continue to teach them, through every move, every choice, every victory." In the silent vastness of space, one truth had been proven. Humans were not ordinary fighters. They were unpredictable, brilliant, and united. And any species that underestimated them would pay the price. The Zalari fleet was reeling. Their precise formations had been shattered, their confidence shaken. For the first time, they realized that the humans were not like any opponent they had ever faced. The USS Resolute and its small fighter squads had turned the battlefield into a place where logic alone could not guarantee victory. Commander Elena Marcus stood on the bridge, observing the alien fleet's movements. She knew the Zalari were regrouping, trying to understand what had happened. "They are analyzing," she said quietly to Commander Talara. "They will try to anticipate our next move, but they cannot think like us. They have not faced humans before." Talara nodded. "They are cautious now, slower to respond. We can use this." Marcus turned to Lieutenant Rivas. "Prepare a coordinated strike. Target their command ships. Use precision, timing, and distraction. This is not about destruction. It is about proving our strength, our intelligence." The human ships moved with silent efficiency. Fighters darted between the Zalari vessels, drawing attention and forcing shifts in their formations. The USS Resolute followed the openings they created, targeting the alien command ships with rapid, focused strikes. On the Zalari flagship, Threx's claws clenched over the control panel. "They are targeting the command center," he exclaimed. "Our shields are strong, but they are finding gaps." Vryn's eyes burned with anger and realization. They are not just fighting. They are teaching us, showing us that our way of war is not the only way. Humans think differently, the Zalari tried to counter. Shockwave cannons fired. Energy beams swept across space. But the humans were already moving, already adapting. Every attack was anticipated. Every maneuver met with careful precision. Human fighters dodged and struck, their timing perfect. "Commander's shields holding at 80%, Rivas reported. "Enemy is trying to break our line. They are concentrating on our left flank." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Good, lead them there. Use their aggression against them. Talara, initiate feint maneuver Gamma 5. Draw their forces into our trap." The human battleship veered as if retreating, luring the Zalari into a tight formation near a dense cluster of energy debris. Confident in their advantage, the aliens pursued aggressively, unaware that they were walking into a carefully planned ambush. "Now," Marcus commanded. The Resolute and its fighter squad struck with synchronized precision. Energy blasts hit the alien command ships, disabling engines and communication arrays. Fighters swooped in to disrupt the rest of the fleet, forcing them to scatter and break formation. In a matter of minutes, the humans had neutralized key enemy vessels without destroying more than necessary. Threx's voice was barely audible. This is impossible. They are controlling the battlefield. Using strategy and instinct together, they fight like no species we know." Vryn's claws tightened around the railing. "They are not just strong, they are intelligent, creative, adaptable. They are worthy opponents." For the first time, the Zalari felt respect mixed with fear. Humans were not a simple enemy to defeat. They were a force that demanded understanding. Every move, every tactic, every decision was a lesson in ingenuity and courage. Marcus lowered her voice, addressing her crew. "This is what humans do. We do not rely solely on technology. We do not only follow strategy. We think, we adapt, we work together. That is why we endure. That is why we survive. And that is why we will always rise, no matter the challenge." The Zalari fleet began to withdraw slowly, regrouping for the first time in years. They had fought many battles, yet none had taught them as much as this encounter. The humans had not only defended themselves, they had shown what it meant to combine intelligence, courage, and teamwork in ways the Zalari could barely understand. As the USS Resolute drifted calmly through the void, Marcus looked at the scattered alien ships, then at the stars ahead. They will respect us now, she said quietly. They have seen what humans can do. But this is only the beginning. There will be more tests, more challenges, and we will be ready, Talara smiled. Captain, they will remember this. The humans have changed their understanding of war today. Marcus nodded. Let them remember. Not for fear, but for respect. That is the true power of humanity. Our ability to think, to act, to adapt, and to rise above any obstacle. In the quiet of space, the humans had made a mark. The Zalari had learned an important truth. Technology alone does not make a warrior. Intelligence, creativity, courage, and unity, these are what truly define strength. And humans possess them all. The USS Resolute continued on its course, a beacon of human ingenuity and resilience. The stars stretched ahead, full of challenges and possibilities, and the humans were ready to meet them, confident in their mind, their courage, and their will to prevail. The Zalari fleet was in retreat. Their command ships damaged, their formations broken. They had learned a lesson they would never forget. The humans had not only survived, they had outsmarted an entire armada. And in doing so, they had proven something far more important than firepower. That courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most advanced technology. Commander Elena Marcus stood on the bridge of the USS Resolute, observing the scattered alien ships. Her crew worked quietly but efficiently, repairing minor damage and preparing for any unexpected attacks. There was no celebration, no arrogance, only calm focus. Victory was not in destruction but in demonstrating human strength and resilience. Talara approached Marcus, a mixture of pride and amazement in her expression. Captain, they are retreating. I think they understand now. Humans are not like any other species they have faced. Marcus nodded. Yes, they respect us now. But more than respect, they have learned caution. They will study this encounter for years. Our tactics, our decisions, our unity, they cannot ignore it. Humanity has left a mark on this sector. The crew of the Resolute moved like a single organism. Engineers repaired the shields and weapons, pilots ran final checks on fighter squads, and the tactical team analyzed the Zalari retreat to predict any possible return. Every member of the ship understood their role and their value. They were not just soldiers. They were thinkers, innovators, and problem solvers. In the distance, the Zalari fleet had slowed. Their ships drifted in formation, not attacking but observing. Admiral Vryn had ordered a temporary withdrawal. For the first time in centuries, he felt uncertainty. The humans had changed everything. What the Zalari thought they knew about war no longer applied. They had faced an enemy that fought with logic, instinct, and imagination all at once. Threx, standing at Vryn's side, spoke quietly. Admiral, I do not understand them. They are not faster, not stronger, yet they outmaneuvered us. They think differently. Vryn's eyes glinted. He says, and that is what makes them dangerous. Not their weapons alone, but their mind, their courage, their unity. We cannot underestimate them again. On the USS Resolute, Marcus turned to her crew. Today we have proven that humans are not just survivors. We are thinkers, problem solvers, and warriors. Every decision, every maneuver, every act of courage has mattered. Remember this. The galaxy will remember it too. Lieutenant Rivas smiled. Captain, I think they will tell stories about us. About our ship, our tactics, our courage. Marcus allowed herself a small smile. Let them. Let the galaxy know that humans are a force not to be underestimated. But our work is not done. The stars are full of challenges and we must always be ready. As the Resolute continued its journey through space, the crew reflected on what had happened. They had faced an enemy vastly superior in numbers and technology, yet they had prevailed. Not because of luck, not because of sheer firepower, but because they had relied on what made them human. Ingenuity, adaptability, and teamwork. In the Zalari sector, historians and military officers would later study the encounter endlessly. Reports would describe the humans as unpredictable, brilliant, and formidable. Tactics used by the USS Resolute would be dissected, analyzed, and feared. For the first time, the Zalari had seen a species that could not be measured by technology alone. Marcus watched the stars stretch ahead, silent and infinite. This is only the beginning, she said quietly. There will be more challenges, more battles, and more lessons to learn. But humanity will meet them all. We will survive. We will endure. And we will always rise no matter the odds. Her crew listened and nodded. They had seen the impossible made real. They had learned that courage, intelligence, and unity were more powerful than fear, weapons, or numbers. And they carried that knowledge forward with pride. The encounter with the Zalari had changed the galaxy's understanding of humanity. Not as conquerors, not as aggressors, but as a species whose mind, heart, and spirit could stand against any force. Stories of the USS Resolute and Commander Marcus's leadership would be told for generations, inspiring humans and others alike. As the human battleship disappeared into the stars, the galaxy knew one undeniable truth. Humans were a force to be reckoned with, and wherever challenges awaited, they would rise to meet them, intelligent, brave, and united. The stars stretched on, endless and full of possibilities, and the humans sailed forward, leaving a legacy that no one, not even the Solari, could ever forget.